was a triumph. I'm making a note here, huge success. It's hard to overstate my satisfaction. Aperture science. Do what we must because we can. For the good of all of us, except the ones who are dead. But there's no sense crying over every mistake. You just keep on trying till you run out of cake. And the science gets done and you make a neat gun for the people who are still alive. I'm not even angry. I'm being so sincere right now. Even though you broke my heart and killed me, tore me to pieces, and threw every piece into a fire. As they burned, it hurt because I was so happy for you. Now these points of data make a beautiful line. We're out of beta, we're releasing on time. So I'm glad I got burned to think of all the things we've learned for the people who are still alive. Look at me still talking when there's science to do. When I look out there, it makes me glad I'm not you. I've experiments to run, there is research to be done on the people who are still alive. And believe me, I am still alive. And while you're dying, I'll be still alive. I feel fantastic and I'm still alive. And when you're dead, I will be still alive. Still alive. Still alive. I'm still alive, baby.
Fantasy Grounds is angry today.
Is it?
Seems so.
It likes me. Although I do need to figure out how to add force damage resistance to myself.
That's something a DM has to do.
Ah,
No, it's not.
That's not. Oh yeah, you can put it under resistances now.
No, you make a effect that you put on yourself.
huh?
Fantasy Grounds has very good documentation on how to do that.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Oh,
I'm not in Fantasy Grounds. I seem
You're
to be
not.
in.
No, there you are. You just popped in
Oh.
just now.
Oh, okay.
hello everyone, and welcome to the stream. I am Razim, and this is Tales of Miraleth, Dungeons and Dragons. I will turn it over now to Chili Felix.
Oh,
Yep, it's all on you now. Lead us
can
well.
I pass the Gold King?
No.
Okay.
I mean, you never said he couldn't until just now, so.
I'm too tired.
Well, fine then. I'll pass it to Raharu instead.
What am I supposed to do?
You're supposed to do the startup.
Like,
Didn't
But,
you do
I'm
the
not sure.
training? It's a 3-day course. It's very thorough. You didn't get the
I don't-
training?
I don't think so.
Well, why
Welcome
didn't
to
you
these.
attend to the training?
I didn't even know there was training. Oh dear.
Yeah, it's
Welcome-
a 3-day course with about a 25% pass rate. There are quizzes every day, sometimes multiple a day. You know, you gotta complete it.
No wonder I didn't take it. That's too much.
Well, fine! I guess I'll let the Gold King have it now.
Welcome to the start of the show, everybody, where Razin decides to pick on someone for about 5.
What?
Yeah, no, I saw that, and I was moving to you, moving me to another chat. You.
I take full blame.
Good
Oh,
job,
okay, that
Blue
was you.
Queen.
Sure. Anywho, welcome to Tales of Miraleth. I'll be your host, Gold King and Dungeon Master. Well, technically, I think Zim's the host. I don't know. Either way, I'm the Dungeon Master, and I invite you to join our little game of Dungeons and Dragons here today. As the DM inviting you to join us, I also enjoy, and I would enjoy to invite you into the world itself as any character of which you choose, as this is the game of D&D, and of course, as the DM, what I say goes, and if you want to join us, you're more than welcome to. If you so do choose to join us, you would have recently finished a rather long and arduous journey through a good part of the mainland to the main city known as Fortitude, a large capital city that's miles expansively long, very well known for its trade, commerce, and, of course, its opportunity, much like the land of Miraleth itself.
I don't
some
know.
of
I
you may
haven't
have-
seen much opportunity here.
Well, you've only just gotten here.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
almost
but
got lost.
so far this whole land has just been duckness, duckness, duckness.
Darkness.
There's still opportunity if you know where to find it.
And
As
heartless.
any good merchant would be able to tell you.
And heartless, and more darkness.
There's no heartless here.
Where's the map?
This isn't
Oh.
Final Fitness.
Are there nobodies?
Darkness within darkness.
Well, there are nobodies, but there's not no bodies.
But they're nobodies. They're not no bodies. So are there nobodies, or are there no bodies, or are there nobodies?
Well, there's nobody of you.
I'm sure there's heartless as well. I mean, just look at how cruel some people can be.
I mean, even though people could be cruel, they still do in fact have a heart.
Oh no, they're definitely referred to as heartless.
Referred to as heartless, but whether or not they actually are physically heartless is a different story altogether.
Who says I was talking about physically heartless?
Shrugged at JPEG. Anywho, the story then begins with our heroes waking up in the tavern that they once were at. Having a decent night's sleep, Eisen had recently received words and mysticisms of possible futures, or something of the sort, from a gypsy previously, whereas the rest of the group went out doing things such as fishing, getting more supplies, etc., taking note of some of the interesting locals, so to speak. And I actually do now have a map to sort of represent the general area in which you're in. This is by no means...
you forgot about somebody and what they did.
Who's that?
You forgot all about Crag and Kai. And the,
Right, Craig did previously need to go to the customs office to be able to get Kai, basically obedience certified to even be inside of town, and dodged a 20 gold fee via his illustrious charm.
That's one way to put it.
And that's the story, and we'll go ahead and stick to it. But the party wakes up in a tavern, as they've been doing for about the past few weeks now, it seems. And they are welcome to go about their business as they like. Eisen finally has a chance to inform the rest of the party of the things going on now that the rest of the party is back together after a night of sleep, as most people probably would have stayed up later doing other things. Most of which, for the sake of progressing the story, I'm simply going to skip over. My apologies, any of you night owls. Looking at you, Zyre.
hey,
I'm not an owl.
Yeah, but you do stay up rather late.
I mean, I stay up till 6 a.m. every day.
Same.
I mean, yeah, but you're not a bat.
So you're assuming poor Ral's freaking sleep schedule just because of his species?
Yes.
Yes.
You go in timeout. All right, have you
And
learned
then
your
they
lesson?
need to go and. Pardon?
Have you learned your lesson?
What lesson?
I put you in timeout
For what?
for being a bigot.
What was bigoted?
Your assumption of Ral's sleeping schedule.
How is that bigotry in any way, shape, or form?
Because you decided that clearly Zyre must sleep must be awake all night, just because they're a bat.
Well, to be fair, it's the same assumption as any normal human would make as to any other normal human, that they're asleep during the night and awake during the day.
No, you assumed that Zyre was asleep, but
Yes.
during the day, not at night.
Yes. Because that is that species' normal sleep schedule.
Uh-huh.
It's a-
So you haven't learned your lesson.
Sure.
Well, okay then. Carry on.
Anywho, with the map.
What map?
I'm sharing a map to sort of hopefully illustrate the kind of setting that you're in, more or less.
I don't see it.
I know I haven't shared it yet.
What happened to all the previous maps we had?
Oh yeah, I stopped sharing some of them because you didn't still need to see them.
I want my map. The map of the region.
Oh, that one should still be shared with you.
It is not.
But first, there's a nice little city map.
Great fun!
You gave us a map from the very, very beginning of the cave.
What?
Map 7 is a cave.
I didn't. Oh, why is that? Do I still have that one? I don't even still have that. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Yep, yeah, okay. There you go. You don't need that anymore. And you wanted... Right. Oh, I renamed it. That probably changed it up a little bit, so I need to resize it now to get it back to you. That should do.
Very interesting town.
And there's the map that, of course, Sidier would have. Just so that, for one thing, Elman can see it, remind the audience, all that sort of stuff. But yes, this is, you're right outside the... In this map, you're right outside the tavern. You can still be inside the tavern and conversing if you like, but this is just to sort of give more of a feel for the town outside of simple words and what. Many of the tokens used, I have used purely for aesthetic. So don't mind any particularly hostile appearing creatures. They're all purely here for aesthetic. Just
Interesting.
try and make it more like a crowd.
I don't believe you.
This form would like to throw lightning.
All right. Why?
Why not?
Why can't I get magic cancellation?
Pardon? Anywho, with you all inside of the tavern currently, may go ahead and proceed with the beginning of your day, speaking amongst yourselves, going about your business and whatnot. You do notice that even though it is rather early morning, the fat dragonborn that you saw before is still there. You're not certain if he slept in his booth or what, but he is still there. Not eating currently.
Does it smell like he slept in the booth?
Possibly, but you're not sure if that's just the way he smells. It's generally a bad idea to go near him.
Hold up. How much fish did I catch?
When you went fishing. How long did you go fishing for?
A few hours.
Give me one survival roll. Real quick. Pretty good. I'll give you... Whoop. Okay. You may... up to you, but you may have caught up to 16 fish.
He would have caught all of them. Hey, we grabbed them all and brought them back and asked the innkeeper to cook them.
All the fish, okay.
Well, yeah.
The innkeeper proceeds to give you a strange look, but shrugs and proceeds to cook 16 fish. Now, to give more of a scale of these fish, they're not terribly big, but not terribly... I think they're more like... If it was like a small salmon... These are river fish, not like, the tuna that you were catching before. Those rather freaking...
So
I
like
went to
a
the ocean.
catfish or a
Yeah,
bass.
more like catfish, yeah. Catfish
But I
is
went to
river.
the ocean.
Oh, you did.
Gosh,
you
can
went,
you remember
you went to the river.
anything?
You went to the river. You specified you went to the river because that was closer. You went to the river. Don't try to pull a fast one on me.
Okay.
I remember that. I don't need to watch back the footage. Anywho. So, you're all in the tavern? Able to proceed?
Nomming on fish.
Rishthorn begins his morning breakfast with a pure fish diet, which will eventually catch up with him, but, for now it's great.
How will it catch up with him?
I mean, only eating one thing can be bad for your health, but,
Yeah,
For now,
he's
you're
not. He's not getting any of those clams that otters love so much.
He'll get some.
he'll get some probably, yeah.
Alright, so how late in the day is it from whenever?
It's morning now.
Alright,
Like I said, because I would assume the party would not really properly convene until morning once everyone's actually properly slept and whatnot. It is now morning. We're skipping forward to morning simply for the sake of saving time and hopefully moving things a little bit along.
It's a brand new
Time skip.
day.
Graham will come up to City Air. Hey, I met this fortune teller lady, and she might be able to help us find those people we're looking for.
She might.
Yes, and also the fat dragonborn might be one of them.
Well,
Jack
that makes
says
sense.
he knew it. He knew the fat dragonborn would be useful.
I mean, only someone with a lot of money could eat that much.
but there was a whole lot of other things. Very.
Can you be more specific?
Yes, they were kind of very cryptic, and I need something so we can write this stuff down with.
I'll hand you some ink and paper.
All right. Graham shall take it and be like, "I shall be right back." And he'll go to find the fortune teller lady to get her to write down all that stuff she was telling him yesterday.
All right, as you head out and make your way back to the alley in which you saw the fortune teller, you would find that the tent and whatnot that was once there has been packed up and is now gone. However,
She lied.
however, once you arrive there, in almost a strange happenstance of fate, just almost a moment after you realize that the tent has gone, you get a tap on your shoulder. And once you turn around, you should likewise see a sort of speckled rabbit standing in front of you with a rather big smile.
A rabbit?
A rabbit.
What
Much like
color
yourself.
are they?
Speckled brown, white, and that's I think the proper word is turquoise. Like I don't know. It's
Turquoise.
I think turquoise is like turquoise. I don't
like
know the
blue.
proper. Yeah, turquoise is a blue, but I thought like turquoise was like a fur pattern or something. I don't know. I'm
No,
bad
it's
at
a
descriptions.
blue-green.
Oh,
sometimes.
tortoise. You mean like torty? Like a tortoise shell
Yeah,
pattern?
where it's like the sort of three sort of patchy colors going together.
That would be calico or tortoiseshell.
Yeah, that's
Tortoiseshell.
calico.
Okay, calico, tortoiseshell, whatever it is. Thank you for eating my description, as I'm bad with words. Anywho, you got that sort of rabbit just sort of standing there smiling, and he holds out a folded envelope to you.
Oh. Thank you. Who are you?
Oh, I'm the courier. I was told there'd be someone here looking for a package, and you're the only one fellow here. He says, glancing
Ah,
around. Even though it is rather
yeah.
crowded, you are the only one in the alleyway.
Graham shall take the letter and take a look at it.
Right, the letter would have the contents and written description of what you had previously been wanting. Likewise, it had a small bit of additional information.
Oh. What is the additional bit of information as Graham starts to head back?
The fortune teller had told you that there were 6 champions who formed 3 bloodlines, and of those 3 bloodlines, of each of those, sprung 6 from... I'm sorry, 3 from each champion. That's all the additional information, but it does seem noteworthy that that had been added.
So the 6 people are all some kind of combination of the 3 bloodlines, and there's at least 3 for each.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Okay, so you said there's 6 there's 6 people for 3 different bloodlines, and you said there's 3 for there's 3 people for each bloodline.
Yes.
So that means that either there's actually 9 people and 3 of them are horribly bad, or they share a bloodline, or some of the 6 share that they have more than one bloodline.
I'll leave you to try and figure out what's going on there.
All
Come to the
right,
assumptions that you will.
Graham will come back, and when he gets back, he'll hand City or the paper with the information.
Can I also get my ink and pen back?
Yep. Yeah.
Awesome. Sidger's gonna look over it and then relay most of the information that was just told to the rest of the party, and asking
Right.
if anyone's seen anyone that matches any of these descriptions.
I'm gonna go ahead.
Graham points at the very fat dragonborn.
Other than that one.
He seems like he's definitely part of that body bloodline.
I don't doubt it.
I'm just making sure I've got everything typed up for you.
Although I do have one quick question for you. Does that rock? Do we have to get like a sample of blood from each bloodline, or will it just help us hone in on anyone from any of those 3 bloodlines?
She said that I'm sorry, not she. It was back when you had Estebar, but according to Estebar, it would find someone who had the same blood of a particular bloodline.
Okay.
I guess we're gonna have to start asking for blood donations.
That sounds bizarre.
I
Okay.
think I can get Snowy to get a little bit of blood from the dragonborn.
So here we go. If we get, yeah. Here's what the note said.
Jeez.
It's a bit of exposition, which was meant to get through last week. By the way, one of you, does anyone remember, who picked up... Actually, let me just check your inventories real quick if I can't find it. But do continue.
Oh, yeah.
There's an item that one of you should have.
In that case, should we go talk to the Dragonborn?
You may do so if you so choose.
Sidger will approach the big fat Dragonborn.
And Graham will go with City Air.
Element will also go with the air.
Crack follows.
Zara will
Sorry.
also come along.
Jeez, we're gonna look like we're gonna rob him or something.
Yeah.
No,
Have
no,
good
it's
luck
gonna
with
look
the
like
big
we're gonna.
dragonborn.
It's gonna look like we're going over there to help him out of the booth.
One or
All right,
two.
buddy, here we go. Everyone on 3. All right, so as you approach the rather large, gluttonous dragonborn, he simply turns his head over to you in a sort of lazy and, just gives a soft sort of questioning softly, without a word, as to why you would approach him.
Element is going to give a small bow to the Dragonborn. Greetings, my good sir.
Good day.
One question. You did say that the Dragon Warden was dressed like some kind of noble, right?
He does have some fine clothing on, which is fascinating that anything fits him.
Custom
Oh,
made.
it-
Must be expensive.
Indeed.
Yeah, Graham doesn't bow or anything like that.
Coward. Anyways. Well, go ahead and say what you're going to say. He just looks at you, slowly blinks.
Can we request what bloodline you're from?
My bloodline?
Yes, you seem a noble.
Yes, I'm the great Balin Nalkuoth. What can I do for you?
Did you ever look to Graham and ask him what are we supposed to do with this?
I don't know. We were just supposed to find 6 people from 3 bloodlines. And apparently there's like 9 people, or some of them share multiple bloodlines. I don't know what we're supposed to do with them. No one explained that.
Oh, the troubles of being the hero of the realm.
Well, I suppose finding them is the first step. If we know who if we know who they are, at least that's one thing.
My best guess for what we're supposed to do with them would be to take them to that Starfall city or whatever.
Are you
But I
all
don't-
going to sit here and babble?
Most likely.
Can you do that elsewhere then? He says, lifting a rather heavy arm that, just droops down as he softly
Graham gasps in
waves you
surprise
off.
that he's capable of lifting his arm.
Raceforn's over at his own table, eating more fish.
Risforn aspiring to be the new. I mean, 16 fish is a lot of fish, man. Even if they are catfish.
Oh no, he's he shared with others.
Oh, okay. Well, then you can still manage to keep it lean and whatnot.
I'm gonna assume this one is from the body.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume that too.
Well, you have made your assumption, but is it correct?
Can I ask him if he's the champion?
The champion
Yes.
of what? The arena?
Of the
Do
body.
I look like an arena champion to you?
Not particularly.
It probably goes unnoticed, but Graham is smiling, but his eye is twitching.
Element is just looking at the entire situation and shaking his head. Everything is all so awkward.
Yes.
He's not entirely sure what to say himself.
The rather hefty Dragonborn gives a rather audible, low and heavy sigh through his nostrils as he proceeds to wonder why you're still bothering him.
I am sorry for troubling you, sir.
Good.
May I offer you a strong drink?
He seems slightly surprised by that, but then gives a single nod. If you can afford one, I'll be receptive of it.
City would like to call over the bartender and order the strongest drink they have for this big lizard.
The bartender gives a nod and notes that'll be 10 gold.
I'll pay it.
He gets you a rather big mug, and then he gets something off the top shelf and pours it into the rather large tankard and pushes it towards you. Just from the smell, it almost burns your nostrils.
She will quite quickly hand it over to the big lizard.
So you're just gonna remove the gold from your thing real quick.
I already did.
Oh, how dare you!
Taking the DM's job.
Anywho, as you bring it over, the large lizard takes it with a soft sort of bow, grabs it with both of his rather tubby fingers. Well, hands, I should say. Tubby hands with tubby fingers. And brings it up and starts to gulp it down.
Hmm.
Can you tell me about yourself, sir?
He stops about halfway through the drink, placing it back down. You can see it's halfway gone already. And he gives a soft hum to himself.
There may be more drinks in it.
Very well. As I said before, I am Berlin Narkulf. I'm a lord of some of the northern lands. Been called to this city due to recent troubles.
How far north?
Have you been to Brightwall?
We have not.
It would be Brightwall. He
And
simply-
let me interject for a moment. You said that you came over here for due to some troubles. I hope I hope this is not rude to us, but what kind of troubles?
Well, there's been a rather large encroaching threat as of late across the continent.
Those
We'll
would be
be
the shadows.
needing more individuals to assist us at Brightwall. More soldiers, much like that of Athalric.
Who is a Saurek?
Thalric is one of the best soldiers they've sent to me, and I know that they have more here.
Does there happen to be 6 of them?
I'd hope the city has more than 6 soldiers.
Not exactly what I meant. Where can we find a Saurek?
Who?
The soldier you speak of.
Thalric.
Correct.
He'd be stationed at Brightwall right now. He's a great leader.
So he's gonna look at Graham and ask if he has any more questions.
Graham is just sitting there, big smile on his face, eye twitching as he's staring at this at the novel.
He moves to continue drinking from the tankard that's been provided to him.
At a premium charge, apparently. Evelyn,
Yes.
do you have any questions?
No, not at the moment.
He gives a soft hum as he finishes his drink, seeming rather pleased, placing the empty tankard back down. He finished it rather quickly for what it is. So you don't know about Thalric, then?
We do not.
I'm surprised. He's rather renowned.
We crash landed from the mainland.
And I'm a traveler.
Oh, immigrants.
I wouldn't say as much.
He just
These-
softly squints at you. Go ahead and roll me a deception.
I wasn't trying to lie.
I mean, you are technically immigrants.
I said I wouldn't say as much,
Okay.
so I wasn't really gonna lie. It's just I wouldn't like to be called that.
Okay, fair enough. Nonetheless, though, he still doesn't seem. He just softly squints at you.
The trouble is, are you mentioning the shadow creatures?
Yes. Thought that would be clear, though of course you wouldn't know about them.
We've encountered them a couple times.
He seems lightly confused by this. You've been outside a bright wall.
We did. We were.
We actually just came from a talk. I believe it was Bellingham. That's where we were before, right?
Yeah.
We were at this like tower place that was like
City is gonna
museum
take up the map
slash
and show 'em.
library. It's kind of in the middle of the continent.
City's gonna show them on the map.
As you point out to where you were on the map, he does seem somewhat surprised as his eyes widen just slightly. Oh, you should go join the army. They could use someone who could survive that.
I wouldn't say much to survive. We just fended them off.
Even
I think that's
still.
called surviving.
You're really humble, aren't you?
I did offer him a drink.
Speaking of drinks,
Oh, I guess I'm obliged to give him another. City will order another expensive drink.
another 10 gold.
There. I don't like to use
What?
it much else.
What?
Alright, I'd pay another 10 gold for another tankard.
Yep, it's top shelf. You're getting the top shelf stuff. Top
Hope
shelf,
it's not-
heaviest and strongest stuff.
10
10
gold
gold.
is still insane for
It is.
a tankard.
Hope it's not rude to ask, but what kind of drink is that?
Something heavy with alcohol and very finely aged.
Moonshine.
see.
I'd have to actually look into the library to see if there's an actually alcohol that would be equivalent of what I'm thinking of. Top shelf. He seems more than pleased to have another drink at his disposal.
I would like to mention that on a peasant's salary, that would like 10 gold would be like would set them up for life pretty much.
Yeah.
Have you noticed we're
Well-
carrying like 300 gold around?
Yeah. You guys are.
678 gold between all of us.
And this guy is absolutely loaded.
Oh, I have no more questions. So City's gonna bow and depart from this dragon.
He gives a soft bow in return, seeming a bit more pleased, even though you did mention that you had come to this land from elsewhere. He does not seem to hold you in such negative regard, since you have given him drinks.
While leaving, Graham will be like, "He was nice. But it seems he genuinely is saying that, but just something just doesn't seem right.
Graham has
There's
figured
pain
out
in his eyes.
Graham uses heavy sarcasm.
Grant,
Oh
Grant
no,
has
he
learned
doesn't
new
use
trait.
any sarcasm. This is more of a just kind of that little bit of split personality going on.
But also, just so that you don't forget, Graham, the lady in which you spoke to last night did also mention you may want to check the prison, as there are 3 members, and she didn't write this down, but you would remember that she did say that there were 3 of spirit who are in town, in the city of Fortitude.
Right. Graham will go over to Sidier. The fortune teller lady also said that there was one person in prison who is of the spirit bloodline.
Considering we have no other leads, it's probably best to check the prison.
Yep,
Closer
and
than walking to Brightfall.
there's also a total of 3 of them here, so I'm guessing one of them might be a fake or like e-hole.
We'll have to find out when we find them. What's everyone else doing?
Well, Rishforn said he was eating fish. That simply leaves Isaiah and Crag. What were the 2 of you doing?
Zach was listening to the conversation.
Crag was listening or Zaire was listening? I didn't hear the name.
Crag was listening.
Okay.
Zaire was also, but he's kind of holding like back, like keeping to the back of the group.
Not getting near the rather smelly Dragonborn.
Yeah.
Well, that simply means all you need to do is inform Ristforn and do whatever you would do next.
Sidier will come stay with Ristforn and go over a plan of checking out the prison.
Element is gonna follow Sidier.
Alright.
Ristforn?
Sure, he'll go along with.
All right. Give me one quick sec.
Would anyone else like to check out the town before we go to the prison?
Well, the only thing I need, I can't really afford yet, so I got nothing to do in town.
Alright, well, if there's nothing else from anyone, then you would all begin off in search of the prison. It would be rather easy, of course, to find someone to point you in the right direction, as many people here almost need to have a good mental layout of the city. And it does take you a few hours of walking, actually, just to get there, from all the various winding paths, and possibly getting turned around once or twice. But even still, it's not terribly difficult to get there. As such, I will go ahead and share the next map.
The
And get you
mappy
on.
map.
Yep. I just need to place you guys on it real quick. And all right. Cool. Almost forgot to. There we go. So as you do, come to the sort of main area, and also do pardon this. This one's made with marker. You would come up to two guards who are sort of sitting set side by side for the small sort of gravel path heading through into a rather mid-sized building. It doesn't really quite look like a prison, but then again, you would recall most prisons are mainly underground. So this first upper area is mainly just initial checkpoint, you would feel like. It is notably 2 stories, though the second story is much smaller than the first. Probably about 30 or 40 feet across, whereas this one here seems to be at least twice that size. If you're making your way forward, there are 2 guards simply standing there. They take note of the party.
Did they make any attempt to stop us?
No, it's a public space, so you're welcome to enter if you wish.
Sidir would like to enter.
Alright, Sidir proceeds inside.
Graham shall follow.
Enemy shall follow as well.
There, we'll follow.
What is that we're looking for again? We're looking for
We're looking for someone free of the spirit.
Crag is following as well.
Right, you notice that there is a guard who seems to be sitting at a desk, as well as one rather nearby. Seems to be going through a shelf of sorts. The one at the shelf glances over and looks to the rest of the party and gives a sort of smile, clapping his hands together. Oh, hello there. What can I do for the rest of you?
Yeah. There.
Greeting. We were looking for a specific person.
All right.
What
Do
kind
you
of
have a
people do you-
name?
No.
Not really.
But they might be kind of like
Someone who gets put in here a lot.
Visitors.
eh,
You're visiting.
Correct.
Yes, that will be that will be correct.
All right then. No, we can't have all of you visiting at once. There's quite a lot of you. Jeez. He moves over to the man at the desk. Right, visitation as per usual. And the other guard just sort of gives a nod, gets up and moves around the desk. Right then, we're going to be heading you downstairs. Just stay with us and there should be no problems. We're going to be able to take... He glances around, looking at all of you, squinting softly. Say about 3 of you right now.
Would anyone like to go with Sidir?
I'll go.
There, Craig?
Crag looks uncomfortable in the prison.
Zyra will come along.
Craig may want to stay outside because
Risforn will
Kai.
stay back.
Mm,
Risforn will stay with Crag.
Crag very slowly backs out of the prison.
enemy,
I'm just imagining Craig doing that one Homer Simpson gif where he's just sliding back through the doors.
He slides back into a bush. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, no, he does slide back into a bush, but like for Craig, it would be just through the doors.
enemy seems kind of indecisive to whether to come forward or leave.
Well, if Zyre's going with them, that's 3, so that would be...
Before anyone goes anywhere, can I ask the rest of the party who's not coming down to go maybe look for some scholars?
Crag
Scholars.
nods. Happier to look for scholars than prisoners.
Oh, yes, that is fine by me.
We're
I
looking
feel
for
like I feel like Crag talking to scholars will end with some hilarious results.
You
Sidir
smart man, yes.
Sidir will narrow down their search to someone who's really reclusive and doesn't like to reveal themselves.
Let's send the dumbest party member after this guy.
I think I'm sending 3 of you, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yes, I shall accompany.
I'm sure if you put your
Um,
head together, you might get something.
Graham will take a quick look around each room for keys. He finds nothing.
You're looking for keys around this room?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you don't really notice any keys hanging up around this room at all, one way or another. Anywho, the 2 guards sort of usher you
Hang
over.
on. Does Snowy notice anything?
Nope.
Something's here. Alright. Graham will keep following.
I'm just trying to reveal that there's a little more wall over on that right side there. There we go. The 2 guards usher the 2 of you over to a door on your left. And as you go through, you would see at least one more room, in which there is a guard sitting, seeming to be eating some lunch. And the guards would usher you down the stairs.
Do I see like any keys hanging on the wall here?
Give me a quick perception check.
Alright.
All right, you would notice that just behind guard number 1 there's a sort of desk, the window. That seems to be the sort of normal reception area, but no one was there at the moment. But right sort of under the desk are 3 sort of hooks that do have keys on them.
Alright. Graham shall leave the invisible Snowy here, just in case.
All right,
They
gotcha.
decide to heist.
All right, so for the record, what you did is you kind of just set Snowy down and he went invisible?
No, Snowy just jumps off of Graham.
Okay. When did Snowy go invisible?
Snowy's always invisible.
Just always?
Pretty much.
Okay. Do proceed to let me know when Snowy is and is not invisible in the future.
Right.
Anywho, you are ushered down the stairs, which leads us to our next map.
What about the search for the scholars?
If we want to cut to that right away, you can go ahead.
Oh, it's been a lot of following Sidier for now.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Craig, Elman, and or Ristforn, depending on which one of yous are going out in search for scholars, go ahead and give me some rolls. Just normal D20 rolls first off. You can't really track a scholar, so this is more based on searching. Investigation, I guess you could roll if you wanted to.
Wouldn't it be like a mage tower or whatever?
Oh dear.
I mean, there might be, but this is a huge city.
Oh, investigation. Sorry.
I mean, investigation works too. Like I said, you
Craig
can roll
is
that.
a terrible ranger.
If you want to roll, well, nah, you've rolled on that one, so I'll give you the
Yeah.
option.
I just failed this search.
Yeah, Element, you don't even go searching. You kind of just twiddle your thumbs while sitting at the guard check. You don't really know where to start searching, so you don't even search at all.
What a life.
and Ristforn, however, you two go about. Crag, you find a library. Whereas Ristforn, you're actually able to find a university. We can go with either one of you two for a quick little off-skirt real quick. Would either one of you want to go first? Or would you stick together?
Probably stick together.
Then you would both end up at the university. With you both walking up to the university, you find that there are various individuals walking around who tend to wear, a kind of common uniform that seems to be of scholarly robes and a hood, being mainly white, but also having these sort of blue patterns around them that curve and flow with the body, as it would. You walk up there. It seems to be a rather good place, area in which you would find someone who's fairly intelligent, from what you can tell. So, from there, you'd need to be more specific with your searches as to possible teachers, a possible other library that belongs to the campus, possibly students. There could be, of course, a prodigy amongst them, so on and so forth. Seeing the individuals around you, you do feel like it's fairly easy to pick out which ones are students and which ones are actual scholars, as the scholars seem to have more of the blue patterns around them, whereas the students seem to have slightly less. Though there does seem to be the sort of in-between of basically someone with pure, almost nearly entirely white robes with maybe some trims of brown and whatnot, up to people who almost have entirely blue robes with patterns mixed between white and blue. So it does seem to be a sort of almost, from what you can tell, some sort of ranking structure, almost. What do you do? Ristforn or Crag?
Crag decides to look through the teachers for anyone that seems... He doesn't know, he's going on intuition, I'm guessing. That's kind of the guy.
Alright, well, going from teacher to teacher, assuming you're going purely on appearance, you really can't tell. You know, it's they all have a various appearance about them, various stupid haircuts and glasses and, monocles. Occasionally one or two is smoking a pipe. They don't really seem to have anything that screams of intelligence about them, but that's appearance. Appearance can't really make a basis off intelligence. Of course, I don't know if Crag knows that.
Crag decides to ask the first one he can find where an admissions office would be. He says in a heavy null accent because he barely knows that word.
I was gonna say, can you give me an intelligence roll? Because I don't even know if you would know what admissions is.
Should I give an intelligence roll?
I feel like you should, because I don't even know you would know that word. You don't know that word, but you can still...
He asks where he can find a list of people.
Okay, that's better. You're pointed to a sort of main hall type area with lining of pillars and a sort of balcony type area that seems to sort of all converge into this massive stone white building. They seem to like the color white here a lot.
Craig says thank you in Nolish and wanders off to where he's supposed to be going.
Ristforn, I assume you follow?
Yes, please check Discord.
Oh, okay. Certainly. Okay, understood. So, with that being said, Crag and Ristforn proceed to the front admissions desk, in which they meet a kindly old turtle, who seems to be wearing these sort of large old glasses that have beads coming out the sides of them, kind of go back around the back of her neck. She also has a sort of knitted sort of cloak sweater thing that goes around her shell. It looks adorable. Regardless, she gives you both a slow smile.
Crag walks up to her and asks her if she can help him look for someone, as he can't read or read.
Yeah, that's true.
Chris Farn would help him.
Of course. She gives a soft sort of nod and goes, "Yes, what? Who are you looking for?"
We're looking for someone of a bloodline.
A bloodline? Okay. Which last name?
Crag shakes his head, not knowing. A reclusive scholar.
Reclusive? Well, that's a lot of them. There's...
What's the most reclusive scholar?
Oh, they can't all be terribly reclusive. They all have lectures they must attend. Though, she sort of moves over to her rather large book in front of her and begins to flip through it with a single sort of clawed finger. Check something here real quick in my notes. Let me give this a roll out. Well, there's Professor Davidson on conjuration. There's Peterson of illusion.
Crag smiles and nods, pretending he knows what any of this means.
Oh dear.
You sent the wrong guy.
I was thinking of Lear would have went with him too. Elamir.
Unfortunately, he rolled a natural one.
Yeah.
Though he may still be of use back at the prison. Once things proceed there.
Assuming he didn't get lost in like that courtyard because he rolled a nat one.
I mean, you can't really get lost in the courtyard.
You'd be
30 feet
surprised
across.
where you can get lost.
You would be surprised. He just gets stuck over here behind this little statue and just can't figure his way out. Anyway.
Come on.
Crag thinks smartest.
Well, that's not fair. They teach different classes, different sets of knowledge.
Crag says he needs the cleverest one.
What do you cleverest? You can't. She seems slightly confused and almost a little flustered by these weird questions.
Does she look as confused as Crag does?
Almost, yes.
Crag says, I need mind blood. The mind bloodline.
She just opens her mouth and then just kind of cocks her head, holds up a finger, seems very confused. Perhaps you'd be better sorted checking the library.
Crag looks confused. He doesn't know what a library is.
Luckily,
What is-
Ristforn knows what a library is, and he'll just, I assume, like grab your arm and be like, "Come on."
I find the whole exchange between Crag and civilized people very funny because they get confused, which only confuses Crag more, which only confuses them more, and it just keeps going until it kind of explodes.
Grisfort rescues the poor woman from Crag.
All right, but you two head off to the library, and as you two are doing that, we'll go ahead and proceed back at the prison. As such, I had the map set up. Do this real quick. Combat tracker, there it is. So we had Graham coming with us, as well as Sidir and Zaire. Go ahead and share that map real quick. That's not the button to share map. That's not the button to share map. Where's the... There it is. Okay, there you are. In the downstairs basement of the prison side, being escorted by guard 1 and guard 4. Get them real quick. Whoop. Whoop. And as they proceed downstairs with you, they go ahead and unlock the first gate before proceeding through the second gate likewise. The rest of you are, of course, ushered to follow. Just to get them up and out there. There we go. As you come down, you seem to meet another 2 guards who are standing at their station. One of which who seems to be casually sitting at a desk that seems to be just outside the main prison area. And another guard who's guarding this door back here. In case that's hard to see. Because everything on this is marker. Make everything properly visible. I'm bad with this tool. Anywho. The 2 guards come down, sort of give a nod to the fellow. Inform him that they've got prisoners have got some visitors. The other guard seems to nod in agreement, gets up out of his chair, and moves over with, it seems, his own set of keys to get the main gate. As such, it's opened up, and the lot of you are sort of gestured inside to another corridor.
Can I ask the guards if there's anyone in particular that happens to come in here a lot for a crime?
You know,
They give a soft hum. But anyone who's generally normally a problem goes to the main dungeon of the castle. Anyone else in here is only here for a short time or is going to be publicly executed. We do have one individual who's been here for a very, very long time, though that's because he's an old nutter.
Oh. Maybe see him?
Suppose so.
um, I would like to roll something to figure out why there's so much security for this place.
You may go ahead and do so.
Because this seems like a really absurd amount of security for what is essentially, I imagine, like a police station, like jail cell. Let alone a place where they would keep just some crazy person.
Let's see what.
So investigation, or
I'm checking through the skills right now. I assume investigation. Yeah, okay. So with that roll, you can determine a few things. First off, this is a city station in which there's likely a good amount of guards that have to come here in this station, mainly because the city is so big. There's likely several of these throughout the city, and each one of them has a general area in which it would need to sort of take control over. As such, you do also realize that this is not quite a slums, but also, of course, not the best form of town. And there likely, of course, are some slums. In fact, you probably came through some slums on the way to get here. As such, the rates of crime probably aren't exactly the best in this area. Coupled together, of course, with the old loon they probably have here, as well as a few other details, it more or less culminates into a sort of reasonable explanation of, yeah, this is probably about a good size to both barrack guards, have supplies for them, and also to hold a substantial number of prisoners should the need
so
arise.
this is just kind of more like a prison that also happens to function as like a guard.
Yes.
Sounds
about right.
It's more or less a minor barracks built on top of a general prison. And from,
Very
of course, what he just said, this isn't a permanent prison either. This is a smaller place. More high priority people are put into the actual castle dungeon, so this isn't even the big series prison.
Yeah, because I was just curious because we've gone through like 5 locked doors and we're still not at the prison cells yet.
Well, you went through a locked door, which was intake, and then like 2 gates, three gates now. Anyways, as you're led on, you do notice a sort of, it's more like a half door than an actual door, so you can kind of see inside just a bit. And as such, you do notice a guard that's kind of sitting there, watching over a tabaxi who seems to just female tabaxi who seems to just be sitting there eating some food. So the guards do seem to usher you down the hallway if you're wanting to see the old loon that they spoke of.
Who's the tabaxi?
Oh, that's Delphine. She's one of the ones I mentioned who's here for public execution later.
For
What did they do?
Oh, she tried to steal the crown jewels from the king. Almost got away from it too, but we were able to get her at the front gate. Tried to smuggle herself out.
Interesting.
I don't think that quite would fit within the
Not really.
the spirit description.
Let's continue to the loony man.
As you are ushered forward, you'd be ushered down to the end of the hall. Whatever works there. And they'd open yet another sort of barred door, sort of splits off into two sort of halls. And then the guard goes ahead and explains as he goes ahead and steps to the right. Right, the cells are to your left there, as he points down the left side of the map. I guess technically it's your right, so he would say it's to your right there. Their right, your the left on the map. The area behind me is just where we let prisoners out to stretch their legs just a touch.
So this
They
way?
should be in their cells right now, save for the one that's having a last meal. So yeah, you are. See two rows of cells, sort of leading down either direction.
So, just a little curious about the Tabaxi. Is she like a famous thief or something? Or is she just, you just caught her?
I've not heard of her before.
Hmm.
Of course, wouldn't know if she has a record. Have to go to the castle for that, if anything. So, I'll just go ahead and show you the cells because it appears that a good majority of them are, in fact, empty, as explained, and from your role earlier, this would make sense to you at least, Eisen, as you said, people here are either here for a short time, either because they're going to be released soon for minor crimes, or they're straight up going to be killed. Likewise, other ones are generally transferred off to a larger sort of dungeon. So there are two prisoners down each of these halls. The one marked number 1 seems to be a bit of an old, decrepit weasel who kind of just mumbles to himself and sits in the corner.
And that.
Right. And number 2 seems to just be a rather young-looking fellow. Seems to almost be like a teenager of sorts. Likewise, a tabaxi. He's more just got straight to black fur, and kind of sits on one of those beds that's just made out of a plank of wood with chains holding it up, at an angle to the wall. So it's just sort of sitting there, kind of kicking his legs about, kind of uncertain what to really do with himself at this time.
I think we should go talk to the older one.
Yeah.
What should we ask them though?
I guess we should start with why they're in here. Although I want to ask Graham's gonna ask the guards something. Hey, is there anyone who was kind of particularly upset about being caged? I mean, not that they wouldn't be, but I mean, like, a little bit more than usual. Like, the cage itself was like torture.
Well, I mean, he kind of shrugs lightly to himself. I haven't seen anyone in here who enjoyed it. I guess closest one that would come to that would be Delphine back there. She was damn near furious she didn't get away, but of course, if I had the crown in my hands and I was about to split town, I guess I'd feel that way too. And now she's going to, of course, be sentenced to death publicly. So, reasonable.
Graham leans over to sit here. I have a bad feeling it might be Delphine.
You probably aren't wrong.
Should I have Snowy procure some things?
Even if, how do you plan to get out?
Well, I mean, well, we don't have to be here while Snowy is doing its thing. His thing.
We'll figure it out after we talk to the loony guy. We'll think about it.
Alright.
Well, as I assume Cydia would approach the cell of the mad, muttering man.
Yes.
The guard, of course, one of the guards is going to follow along with you, while the other one just basically stays back at the gate. And as you do approach, you notice very quickly and very easily a whole bunch of, scrolling within the cell. Various markings, almost runic in design. Go ahead and give me a quick perception check. I'll go ahead and say all three of you because I assume.
Can I roll Arcana instead to see if his runes are just crazy jibber jabber?
Yeah, go ahead. Right. So Graham, as far as you can tell, it is crazy jibber jabber from your knowledge of Arcana. Though, Cydia, you do actually recognize this almost seems similar to some of the various ancient scrollings and whatnot, since you spent so goddamn long with them. With your old boy, I forgot his name already. The mechanical man back at the main tower.
Oh.
It does seem to be, if it's not the same, it does seem to be in a similar vein of it almost. But Graham, you can tell it's not magical. Though Graham, you do have your mage sight and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
To actually see magic.
Yep.
One thing you would have picked up by now is that the holding cells themselves do seem to actually be magic.
Say what now?
That's an interesting magic cell.
Yeah.
They have an insane amount of security here.
It's the big city.
With my I mean, are they just like constantly like what can I tell what the nature of the magic is?
You can give me another Arcana roll for that, yes.
Alright.
Alright, it's a sort of anti-magic shielding, so that with your previous knowledge roll, this does start to make sense to you, as there is literally a spell that you've heard of that's basically just you cast the spell and it unlocks something. I believe that was called Knock. The spell Knock. And yeah, with your knowledge of that spell, it's kind of like, yeah, no, that kind of makes sense. So these cells just can't be busted open with magic because of the anti-magic sort of enchantment on them. But otherwise, they're basic cells. Honestly, you could probably bust them open with enough actual physical force. But you just can't use magic to open.
Grandma will look at the cards. You get a lot of mages in here.
Well, there's some arcane tricksters out there. You'd be surprised how many people use magic to do whatever they want. Just like that kid over there. He gave a sort of gesture behind the wall.
What'd he do?
Oh, just general thievery, but he was using magic to get in and out of here.
Oh, That's quite interesting.
Or at least he was trying to use magic to get out of here. We've had trouble with mages in the past, of course. Now, this one was trying to use all sorts of fancy magic disguises and whatnot, just to steal some basic food, it seemed like. Seems like a nice enough kid, but law's the law.
Graham just lets out a low groan.
Zaire also seems annoyed with the law's law statement.
Anywho, are you doing anything to get the attention of the mad old man? Because he's just kind of like curled up in a corner, softly shivering to himself.
Is the mad old man magical?
He's not magical. He's just an old man, just an old individual, softly mumbling to himself. So you go up there and you kind of ask him his name, and he his head twitches and glances at you.
That's not creepy.
Who are you?
I am Sidier, follower Bahamut.
Sidier. He just starts to get more into his scrawling with his old decrepit nails into the stone, repeating your name over and over again. I don't know you, Sidier. I don't know you, Sidier.
That would be correct. What are you writing?
You scrawling on the walls?
Sidier.
Just Sidier?
Sidier.
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 I have a sense of impending conversation explosion.
He does seem like an old freaking nutter.
Have you lost something?
He takes soft pause in that question. How many of us haven't lost something? He
Oh,
says, giving a soft smile towards the bars. Losing things is such a common part of life. Losing love, life, power, city air.
I'm not lost.
No, that's your name. Is it your name? That's your city air.
Graham will lean over. So are those things? Is what he's scratching on the wall anything? Because it doesn't seem to be anything of any magical nature.
It's a writing from the tower.
You mean the ancient language which no one should know?
Did you just give a soft nod? Yes, is that exact one?
Should we ask him where he learned it?
Do you
I'm
think
not
we get a
sure
straight
though.
answer?
Probably not, but on the off chance that we get even something remotely useful, it could lead us to like one of the people we need to find. Hopefully, for the love of God, he's not one of them.
Perhaps ask him yourself.
Right, Graham will look in there. So, where did you learn to write this language?
Who are you?
I am Graham.
Graham. Alright, Graham. What was the question?
Where did you learn the language you're writing?
Language? He seems almost confused by that, but he continues to scroll through it in a very particular manner.
Zaire just turns to Graham and says, "This guy's nuttier than you."
I have a feeling. Hey, Sidier,
Yes.
You think that we might be able to copy? Does he seem to be repeating the same thing on the wall, or
He does not seem to be repeating the same thing on the wall.
Can I
We-
show him the piece of paper with the shopping list of the language?
You can.
I have an ancient language. Can I show him the ancient language?
Yeah, you can. And he would kind of cautiously scoot over towards the gate. He doesn't seem to actually stand. He stays his kind of crouched down position with his rear near the floor, with like his feet planted on the floor, so he's kind of like not quite, bent hugging your knees, but he kind of just maintains that kind of like really squatting position.
Slav squat.
Yeah, but something like that, but not quite. His knees are more close together instead of wide apart. But he does kind of reach a bony old hand out through the bars.
You want this?
He blinks at you a few times in confusion, and then just kind of begins to softly scoot back, seeming confused by you and the world in general.
That's not surprising.
Part of me thinks that we should copy down some of his writings on the wall because they might actually mean something, and next time we visit the tower, we could have them translated.
That would be quite the task, as some of the scrolling does overlap. It seems as though he's been in here for a long time doing this. But there are some parts that do seem to be kind of fresh and untouched. You could attempt to do so. It isn't exactly the brightest in here as well.
I
It
don't
would
think
take a
that'd be
bit of
effective use of
effort.
our time.
Alright, I'm just saying, it's really weird that he's somehow writing in a language no one should know how to write. And doing it unconsciously.
You're not wrong.
What did you lose?
We lost 6 champions.
Six champions. 6 champions of old. 6 champions.
6 champions of a bloodline.
I think they were referred to as 6 champions of old at some point. And we didn't say that, and he did.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how he works.
You think he's possibly channeling something or got possessed at some point and this is the result?
Correct.
He proceeds to go about his scrollings and writings and whatnot.
Hey, guard, I have a question for you.
Right, what is it?
So, I know this guy's been in here for a long time.
Right.
Hang on. Quick question before I ask that. How long has, like, the darkness thing been going on here?
I love
Yeah, it's depending on who you ask, it could be from it was either just a recent threat or it's been around or it's been hundreds of years. It kind of depends on who you ask and the kind of context of the question.
You probably don't know this, but has he ever been someplace where the shadows might have been?
Oh, you mean way out of town? I mean, I suppose before he came here, he had to be somewhere else, right?
Can I mention the name of the robot to him?
Yes, you may go ahead and do so.
And in that
Nothing
moment, I forgot
stopping
his
you
name.
I do actually recall the name, and I'm pretty sure it's Harkness.
Yes, that was it.
Have you met Harkness?
Oh, it's Darkness.
Oh my god, everyone's about the darkness. Anyways. Harkness. 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 And at this point, he actually takes a moment from scrolling something down and almost begins to softly and slowly get up, seeming to be slightly pained in doing so. Likely having been like this for a little bit, as he kind of just crawls his hands over the walls, looking through the various carvings of nonsensicalness. I don't know, Harkness.
Oh,
I don't know Acidia. I do know Acidia. Hold
yes, you do.
on. He just continues to look through it. It doesn't seem to really actually be getting anywhere with it. So you just feels like you're looking at him, looking at a whole bunch of, nonsensical scrawlings on the wall. It doesn't seem to be getting anywhere.
No.
I kind of wonder if he was that guy who wrote the shopping list.
That's what I would have thought, but I would have thought he would recognize it at least.
I mean, he did kind of take it and didn't give it back.
No, he didn't take it. He reached his hand up for it. Sidir asked if he wanted it, and then he
Okay.
kind of just recluse. He didn't actually take it.
Alright, well, I guess we should talk to someone else, because I don't think we're going to get anywhere currently until we learn how to read ancient writing.
I don't think we'll get anything out of either.
Probably should have had Harkness teach one of us.
Well, I tried. It didn't go very well.
Yeah. Before you go, he kind of just says, "You asked if I lost something. I seem to have lost Harkness. If I did lose Harkness, I don't know that name. Before I lost Harkness, before I lost Sidir, before I lost Graham, I lost my power, and then the dignity, and then the mind." Yes,
Magic power?
that sounds right. Pardon?
You lost magic power?
Yes. Magic. Could you bring me magic?
How would you like me to bring you magic?
He blinks at you a few times. I'd like some magic.
So you're just gonna look at Graham. You got magic?
I could maybe prestidigitate something.
He kind of scoots forward towards the bars, sitting cross-legged, eyes filled with wonderment.
Let's see, what the hell can Graham do?
Sire has a lot of spells that just has a couple spells that can just create like a harmless sensory effect.
Yeah, that's prestidigitation. I guess Graham will make some sparks in his hand.
As your hand begins to spark via the powers of prestidigitation, he looks on and begins to softly clap with his hands, seeming ever so delighted. Yes, like that. I need something like that. Something.
Do we have that wand? Or
I don't think the guards are going to let us give the crazy old man a wand of anything.
Quite right.
I don't think we're allowed to give him anything, to be honest.
Well, if you guys do find out anything about like where he came from and stuff like that, I would be very interested in knowing that later.
Can I pass him a candle? Or may I
Pass
give
the
him a
old-
candle?
Pass the old man a candle?
No, can I ask the guard if I can give him a candle?
I don't see why not.
Can I pass him with a magical darkness candle?
You may give him a magical darkness candle.
Alright. I'll hand him a magical darkness.
Right, as he takes the candle, he looks it over curiously and then sort of sniffs it and goes, "Ooh, lavender."
And that's it.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem to really do anything with it. He does inspect it with curiosity.
Should we try lighting it? It
You
seems like a waste, but
I mean, you can stuff it out. Well, they are consumed. That is right.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be up to you then, I guess. Could be waste, might not be. Yeah. You could give me an insight roll real quick if you want to try and more properly interpret Kim, I suppose.
I would like to try to interpret crazy as another crazy person.
There you go. You feel like whatever he needs, the candle isn't it.
No, I don't think the candle is it. Do I have any insight as to what it might be that he's looking for?
Probably something magical.
I don't think we have anything excessively magical on us.
Well, I have some magic. I have like my magic ring of protection and the brooch of shielding that are magical, but I don't really think that's what he's looking for either.
Can I show him the tentacle box with a knife?
Yes, please.
You can, but the moment you take out a box that kind of has a cane plate cover on it, the guard is like, "What is that?
It's a box. It's a tentacle box.
What?"
Graham's going to sigh and just walk away at this point.
The tentacle box with a knife.
He's got a knife.
Correct.
Sometimes
Ow!
it has a knife.
Put that thing away.
Alright, I'll put it back in my bag. Alright, I think we're done with
Don't
this.
stab the prisoners.
I mean, it wouldn't be me who's stabbing it, but okay.
I didn't stab them, officer. I just threw the knife at them. The air stabbed them.
Sorry, you got any questions to make this go any further?
No, Zaire is giving up on the crazy old man.
All right. With you finishing questions there, we're gonna go ahead and switch back to Crag and Risforn before we continue on. Crag and Risforn, you arrive inside the academic library, which is a rather towering place. To note, you have been walking for a few hours to get to this university, so you are further a good bit deeper into the city, as this definitely seems to be much more classy place. There's definitely some class from the white stoning of the university itself to the clearly well-crafted library that you now find yourself in, with plentiful woodwork carving all about, and bookshelves that need ladders on wheels to be able to access some of the upper volumes that they have in store. With that said, you are looking around. You very easily find a sort of dragonborn scholar who seems to be a hooded individual, though this one wears brown robes instead of the normal white with blue. And they seem to be sitting at a desk flipping through a book of their own.
Crag wanders up to them and asks them if they know where he could find books on bloodline. He needs to find the mine bloodline, please.
Mind bloodline? You're talking about a bloodline of scholars, I assume?
Crag shrugs.
He blinks at Crag a few times. He moves away from his book, standing up and going over to a little catalog of sorts to flip through some papers. We've got bloodlines of nobility, bloodlines of, strangely, there's arena champion bloodlines. There's bloodlines
Champion bloodline?
thieves.
I heard champion.
Yes, arena champions. It tends to run in the family, strangely enough.
Crag shakes his head. Not the kind of champion I'm looking for.
All right. As I was saying, bloodlines of thieves, those also tend to be family matters as well. Bloodlines of famous smiths, bloodlines of various scholars, bloodlines of sailors. Give me something to work with here, boy.
I'm looking for reclusive scholar with bloodline of mine.
He kind of just turns towards you, seems confused for a second, but then goes back to it. So their last name is Mind. He just kind of like softly scratches the scales by one of his forehead horns. Right, history section's the best I can do for you, I suppose. He points you off over towards a sort of just region of this, library with shelves of books. You'd be looking for section 701. Probably 701C, if you're looking for historic figures.
Crag smiles and then wanders off, thanking him and Nolan.
He gives a soft nod back to him. Just moves back to his book, giving a sort of sideways glance back to Crag. Did Crag bring Kai into the library, by the way?
Crag will attempt to bring Kai anywhere she will fit.
Yeah, he will then suddenly take note of Kai and just be like, Sir, you can't.
Risforn will wave at the guy as he walks past with Kai.
Like he clearly wants to protest, but it's a bear.
Crack smiles and says, I found bear permit.
He's right. It is legal.
He points at Kai's collar. He says, bear permit.
Kai is a service bear.
He still doesn't seem even remotely happy, but nonetheless, he just kind of tries to go back to his book, but like can't help but just keep glancing back at the bear because to him this is like a bull in a china shop. Almost literally. Like the only way this would be worse is if he actually sold fish. But you are welcome to go ahead and peruse through the historic figures section of the library. Of course, for you, you see a bunch of books. They're different colors and different sizes, and they look kind of pretty for books.
Crag stares happily at the books, clearly not processing any of it.
Did Craig even go to the right section? Wristform would have directed him.
I hope so. Crag kind of wandered vaguely in the direction the dragon was pointing.
Right, it would be up to Wristform then to find the proper book, and it would take a good bit of time, honestly, given the catalog that is presented before them. But they do find some of the books that the man was talking about before, bloodlines of the royal nobility, bloodlines of some of the arena champions that have been notable in the past, bloodlines of even the smiths, and they even did find one on sailors. Strangely enough, there's even a bloodline of pirates. But pushing through all of that, they do eventually find an older tome that seems to actually tell some historic legends, of which seems to be more in the avenue of what you guys would be looking for. As such, going through various legends telling of various old prophecies between most of them basically seem like nonsense, like the sun will rise in the west and set in the east, and some really weird stuff like that really sounds like it means something, but as far as you can tell, it doesn't. However, there is a strange part of prophecy that does mention the sun being, turned to moon and then being broken by a dragon. That sounds kind of familiar. A little concerning.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
But it does start to go into an old legend as well, another old prophecy, speaking of how 6 champions from the ancient kingdom would one day need to return to be able to fight back the darkness from which came. Which hopefully solidifies your main quest for you. The book does likewise speak of the Pillars of Champions, much as Graham had actually presented. Surprisingly enough, it seems as though Graham was right about something. Wristform would most likely be especially shocked. But it does speak
Again,
of...
Graham isn't stupid. He's just unaware of his surroundings.
Like Crag. No, Crag is just stupid.
It does speak of the 6 champions and the pillars of old, and it actually does go into how, for the longest time, they were believed to be the last inhabitants of Miraleth after the naming of Starfall, from whence a star fell upon the land. believing to be the last 6. They were believed to be the ones who repopulated the land, though it was then believed that many other cultures either sprung up from beneath the underground and places like the Underdark, or came from foreign lands. Though from the time period that this book seems to be speaking of, it seems to be speaking of a time much, much longer ago, not as in the current wave of population and immigration that has been happening, that you individuals happen to be a part of. And as such, it does hopefully give a little bit more insight that they seem to just simply be a surviving bloodline from the actual ancient civilization. Or at least, so the legend goes, so to speak. The book does make sure to clarify that so far this is a myth, and someone of a champion-like status or structure would most likely stand out in the crowd to an extreme degree, as the champions of old were basically some of the most powerful individuals in this ancient culture, which was believed to be more advanced and just a much more powerful race of people in general. And that's the majority of the information that Rishforn gleans from the book, hopefully communicating that to Craig.
If he does, Craig takes the book back to the librarian and points at what he believes to be the section on what he's looking for.
As the librarian would look over the book out of curiosity, he blinks a few times, looking at the old ancient prophecy of the 6 champions. And he seems a little bit surprised. Oh, you're looking at old wives' tales.
Craig says, I need to find the mind.
I hate to inform you, but those people don't exist.
Craig shakes. I've been told that they do. I need to find them. I need to find the mind.
And now the librarian feels sorry for Crag, thinking Crag's been pranked.
Just a touch. Listen, if there was someone that smart, they'd. I can't even imagine what they'd do. They'd. He just seems to be at a loss for words of how to properly explain this to Craig.
I feel bad for everyone in the city that has to interact with Craig.
To be fair, this isn't just a Crag thing. This is just someone trying to explain what he believes to be incomprehensible power. No one has those abilities.
Who is the smartest person you know?
Well,
Works if they're loners.
If I had to choose someone, I have heard tale of a particularly wise old individual up near the coast of Elra, but I don't even think that fellow, for all his lectures and what he's worth, is someone of the scale that the book speaks of.
Craig says it's worth a shot.
If you think it's wise to take a trip there now, you don't know what is wise, don't you?
Craig says he's new to this land. He doesn't know much. about what's going on here.
Well, you see, in recent years, the path all the way to Eldra has been darkened, so to speak. It's a bit of a long ways out, and traveling there takes several days. Your best bet would be to take the beetle there. But even then, there's plenty of risks.
Crag looks through his form. What do you think?
The beetle?
The beetle? Right. You're not from. There's a massive underground series of tunnels. There's a large. There's a species of beetles that we've been able to function somewhat like horses here in Miraleth. They travel through underground tunnels in relatively safe caravans, though it's never that bright down there. Generally, it's more of a, well, unsafe task, if you ask me. Plus, I never really could get near those crawly things. They just don't feel right. He
Well,
blinks at you,
okay.
seems to be done. Did you have more you needed to ask of me?
Crag thinks for a bit, and then shakes his head no, and says thank you and no.
He gives a light nod, sort of giving you a small wave. All right, goodbye. Good luck with getting Taylor, I guess.
Crag follows Risk form wherever he's choosing.
Esto termina a las 11, papi. Esto termina a las 11.
Okay.
Maru, mute yourself. I have no idea where I'm going.
Gotcha. Well, 2 notes. Well, I mean, the guy kind of explained it. Elra is a location on the map, just to kind of refill you back in, and that's in the sort of northwest side of the map. So, you do have a lead as far as the scholar goes, but it would be a journey, and to be fair, as far as the Dragonborn told you, he didn't even seem terribly confident in it. But so far, it's currently the best lead you have, so take that as you will. Either way, you could either continue to search, though so far it's kind of been leading you in circles more or less, and this is going to a university where, you know, the most intelligent folks more or less are. Might be best to regroup with a party, but you have the option to Ristforn and Crag do whatever you like, as this is your adventure as much as anyone else's.
Crag notices that they lost their friend from the beginning of the split off and mentions that they should go find him.
Well, Craig, as hunting is your forte, the best place to go would be the last place you saw him, which would be back at the prison.
Crag starts heading back to the prison.
And from there you can hopefully get his trail. So as Rishford and Crag continue back to the prison, back to the folks in the prison, with Sidier, Graham, and Zaire.
Making little progress.
Yes. Elliman, just to give you something to do because I kind of feel bad, you can talk to one of the guards if you like to try and figure some stuff out. As I don't really want to have you sitting around for the entire game.
Huh?
All right, well, Elliman's doing that. No. Are you still there, Elliman?
Looks like you got pulled away.
Yep. Okay, so we'll go back to the main three then. I'll get back to him, I suppose. So Graham, Sadir, and Zaire. What are the three of you doing now? You've spoken to the old nutter who wants something magical. There's the kind of teenage kid that's kind of sitting in the corner. Well, I mean, the cell's basically just a corner. And then there's the one that they called Delphine, who seems to be eating.
Graham wants to go talk to Delphine.
Sit here, follow.
Right, you few seem rather friendly with all these prisoners, they said. Just almost...
we're trying to find some very specific things for reasons that would sound as crazy as the old man.
It's
But
nothing
we have
illegal, is
very
it?
good reasons to believe they're true, and we're not gonna get into it.
It's nothing illegal, right?
No.
No.
Good enough for me. Just opens the gate.
You said this was like a half door thing?
Yeah, it's like one of those saloon doors that just kind of like pushes open, just wibbles back and forth after you walk through it.
Are we allowed in there, or?
Yeah, you're allowed in, yeah.
Alright. Hello there!
So as you walk in, you see the rest of the little mess hall there, as well as another guard that's kind of in the corner. And then Delphine, she just kind of looks up from the sort of gruel that she's eating, licking her maw once with that kind of like, long feline tongue, like, what do you want?
So, strange but quick question. Are you more upset about being caged or about the impending execution?
She just kind of scowls at you in the question, seeming to be like at first it's like a scowl that's like she's confused as to why you're asking, then she just seems insulted, then she just wonders if you're stupid. Like you just asked the wrong thing. And she does not answer you.
That didn't go very well.
That's a shame.
Why don't you get away from me?
I was just. I'll let someone else talk to her. Grandma will
No,
walk
I
over
think you're
here
doing
next
just
to-
fine.
We'll walk over next to Sadir. Maybe you should ask her about why if she had a reason for stealing the crown, or if she just did it just to do it.
I can hear you.
I think you should. You seem to have a bit of experience.
So, did you steal the crown just to steal it? Or did you actually have like a reason, like wanting food?
It was a bet.
Oh.
Is that enough for you? Can you get out of my face now?
Graham will walk over here and whisper to Sidier. Yeah, I'm kind of convinced she might be the person we're looking for.
Yes, but how will we? How does this help us?
Well, if we have to take her to Starfall, then we can't let her be executed.
I don't think she'd follow us either.
If we save her, she might.
What are you gonna do? Just give her the key or something? She's gonna
I
act very confused.
I could potentially do that.
That's insane.
I mean, they might not even know it was us. I mean, Snowy is invisible.
Guard kind of like steps up. What are you all whispering about?
Well, I was wondering.
You here to visit the prisoners, or what are you doing?
Hmm?
Well, you came here to visit the prisoners, and you're just talking amongst yourselves here in the midst of the door.
We're discussing if this is the right person or not.
Right person for what?
We're searching for the champion.
Champion? In here?
Yes.
You'd be more fitted to check out the arena.
We're looking for someone who's like very free spirited and does things on the spur of the moment for no real discernible reasons
We're doing studies.
of great importance.
Well, I guess that fits the bill then.
They would definitely stand out as kind of very probably very skilled.
I mean,
Or above average.
not to praise the prisoner, but she did almost get away with the crown of the king in the castle.
That's
Have you seen the
noteworthy.
castle?
We have not been there yet.
Place is huge.
Easy.
So we got lucky by catching there.
Graham will give City or kind of like a like like kind of a we should probably be making plans kind of.
She would not know how to respond.
Well, I guess that's it for now.
Right, for now?
We may or may not come back.
He seemed slightly troubled by that, but simply gives a like nod. All right, then, guess so.
Shall we depart?
Yep.
If you're ready.
We are ready.
Right, the guard walks up to the gate and gives sort of like a tap on it. All right, let's out. Guard on the outside opens the gate, moves back to his desk. The rest of you are allowed to go out. Guard moves back from his desk, shuts the gate, back to his desk. First guard moves over to the other two gates, sets them both unlocked, moves through them, and brings you back upstairs. I'll go ahead and move you back upstairs. There's Graham, Sidier, and Zaire, as well as... Don't honk at me. Guard 1 and guard 4. All right.
We should probably all regroup outside.
Yep.
Right. And it would take, of course, a few hours before Ristforn and Craig got back, as they did go for quite a long journey during, well, you just basically went for visitation. But Element would be there, of course, and you would head back out, I assume you take Snowy with you.
Yep.
Guards go back to their general, whatever they were doing before.
But before I would head out, would any of the guards be actually paying attention to the keys?
Not particularly. There was still one having some sort of drink with his food. In that time, he still wasn't done eating. He was taking his time. He's on break,
Hmm.
Though you would
No,
need to...
I don't think I'm gonna have Snowy swallow the rack of keys.
That's a lot of keys.
That is a lot of keys. I would be concerned for Snowy.
Well, it's not like Snowy's a typical living thing.
I guess not at this point, anyways.
Doesn't
but
mean it's
yeah.
hollow.
Because then I could just pull it into its pocket dimension from the other side of the wall, and then just with the keys, and then poof it out, and then just poof it back in, but have it leave the keys behind.
What?
Right. Well,
Yeah.
a lot of you
Or am
are.
I thinking of or wait, is that? Oh wait, no, I don't think familiars in fifth. That's a Pathfinder thing. I think I'm thinking about.
Probably. That sounds a bit weird. But yeah, you all group back together. You're all back together in front of the prison. There's two guards just kind of sitting there, being like, "Hello, you staying?"
Maybe until we finish discussing some things. Graham
Right.
will kind of walk a bit away from the guards, so the group can convene.
As long as it's nothing illegal.
It will not be.
You do happen to get this weird feeling that most of these guards kind of look and act the same. It's kind of weird, but yeah.
Unnaturally weird, or just like they just got trained super similarly.
Or they might be old golems.
It's honestly hard to tell. I mean, there's nothing magical about them as far as Graham can tell, but it's just weird. They could have been all trained the same way.
Can I roll something to determine what the weirdness is?
What would that be?
I have no idea. That's why I'm asking you.
I don't think there's really a proper role for that. It's not obvious, and it's not something you could really discern. But at the same time, you're able.
I guess it would be insight.
The fact that you're able, I mean, it's noticeable, but it's not like they're definitely not all the same person, but they do sound fairly similar. From what you can tell, you can come up with a few theories. They could somehow all be related. They could be from like the same region and place where like it's like all the same dialogue and whatnot. It could be training from what you could tell. Like
Reused assets.
there's definitely a lot of theories you can come up with, but like there's really no
Nothing
way to.
concrete. All right.
Yeah.
So, okay, guys, we may have a slight problem. Sidir, would you like to dispense the wonderful, wonderful news?
Of
You know, Delphine. What we
well,
may
nothing's
need to
confirmed.
do.
I have no idea what you're hinting at.
You know, with the two guards just kind of like standing there casually watching the
Well,
group.
he's whispering this to the group, and
That makes it more suspicious.
Graham literally walked away from the guards.
I mean,
We're only a good 20 feet away.
yeah,
And whispering
unless.
at this
Well,
distance
I
would make it
can't
weird.
go any further off the map.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is you're taking the group outside of the view of the
Yeah.
guards. Okay.
Yes. So they
So
can't. So they can't see.
you go over here.
So they can't hear us. They might be able to see us talking, but they're definitely not going to be able to hear jack squat.
Right. Well, proceed to tell the rest of the group, Risforn, Crag, Elemin. Those were the three that weren't there. So you'd basically be informing them. Zyre was with you the whole time. He knows.
Yeah, we may need to break someone out who's on death row.
Crag, Elemin, Risforn. Any response? Feel free to type in chat, by the way, too, since I know Risforn, Elemin, you can't really talk at the moment.
Crag
Oh.
offers to sneak in and try to steal the.
Sorry.
Lydia's gonna look at him with her head
have-
tilted.
You'd have to steal about like 6 keys.
Also, so far you haven't been very successful about being stealthy.
Hunter.
Elemin seems to be preparing to say something. Dun 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 dun.
Me and Kai could cause a distraction.
I think quieter might be better.
Yeah, you didn't see.
I am like at least like 60% sure that this person might be, because we know that that one of the 3 people in there is absolutely for sure the spirit champion, and she was very skilled and stole the king of this town, of this city's crown on a bet, which is seems kind of spur of the moment and kind of spontaneous and not super well thought out, which kind of fits with the theme of the people of the spirit bloodline. I'm also guessing that she probably. That's what I should have asked. I should have asked if she moved around a lot.
Why?
Because free spirits don't tend to plant roots and like live in the same places all the time.
Have you looked at her? She didn't look like she stayed if she was around from here.
I'm aware. But again, we're looking for someone who does a bit kind of things a bit more to the extreme. Like if she like literally like lived in a tent her whole life because she was moving that much.
Something urges me to say that she probably wasn't in a tent, but in other people's houses.
Yes, I know. I was just using an example. But yeah, I'm like out of the 3 people, I think she definitely seems like the most likely.
It's funny because you didn't even talk to the boy.
Yep.
Well, I mean, no one else did either. And through questioning the guards, Graham again is pretty sure that Delphine is the one they're looking for.
Might be.
There's
You are?
3. Maybe all 3 of them are it.
I mean, she did say that all 3 of the spirit champions were currently in the city of Fortitude.
Good point. Oh, this is going to make things very complicated. Well, do we only need one to bring with us?
Don't we only really need the blood?
I think we need... No, they have to come with us. They just have to... We just need the... We just might need a little bit of their blood to find others like them.
Well, if the stone only activates for this champion,
It activates for specific bloodlines. So, like, say
so if someone
Delphine.
isn't of the bloodline, it won't do anything.
Yes.
We can use it as a testing device.
Well, for a specific bloodline, I'm pretty sure, like the spirit bloodline. Like if Delphine was one, then we could get a little bit of her blood and figure out who else is part of that bloodline.
Well, assuming we don't need all of them, we could wait for her to be executed and then get some of her blood then.
I suppose
I somehow feel like that's gonna be more difficult.
more
Yeah,
difficult
her
than
body will be
breaking her
very
out,
heavily guarded.
or a public rescue, or a rescue from a public execution.
I vote for the sneaky route because I'm Marine. Let's just sneak in and break her out. That also fits with my criminal background.
I mean, I suppose if anyone is interested, there was a third person who is just using magic to break into houses to eat and feed himself.
That sounds a bit more on what we are looking for, isn't it?
Well, is
Not
he breaking in
quite.
to eat to feed himself, or because he can?
The guard said that it was to feed himself. Because he
But
was
do they
just
know
stealing some
anything?
food and stuff like that.
Out of character, they seemed as dumb as Crag.
Could be. I mean, hard to tell. As Craig's perceptiveness I mean, like I said before, it's hard to really measure intelligence by how someone looks, necessarily.
I mean, oh crap, we didn't even ask when the execution was going to be.
This tomorrow, isn't it? Last
You didn't
meal
ask.
usually the next morning, isn't it?
And they didn't even say this was our last meal. He just assumes.
No, the guard did. Said they were enjoying their last meal.
Oh, did he? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, he did say that. Oh yeah, no, yeah.
She had gruel for her last meal. What a sad and
I
disappointing.
mean, you can
life.
request whatever you want.
I mean, no one said she requested it. Hey, you know how this prison system works.
Graham becomes even more disappointed in the laws of society.
You had faith in them to begin with.
Graham's respect for the laws of society were like bare minimum. So now they're just below that now.
So
Graham
we've
will
got
remember this.
we've got two people who are borderline criminals, one sailor, two, of the more lawful type, and then also druid.
Who's a lawful type?
A druid
I
who's
mean,
also an
I
outlander.
would assume that both a paladin and a cleric would be more towards the lawful side of things.
I'm
But that's
chaotic
just...
neutral.
Well, okay. Well, then go at it.
Paladins are not lawful or good.
I mean, I assumed the alignment. My apologies.
Well, if they're a paladin of Bahamut, they have to be lawful good. They have to share the alignment of their deity.
Well, no, because paladin or clerics, first off, that is not actually a rule anymore. It's still mostly enforced by most DMs, but even still, they do have the ability to go one alignment step away.
Okay.
So if the deity is lawful good, then you can be lawful neutral or neutral good instead of just lawful good.
If the deity is true neutral, you can be anything.
Also, I think
Oh, it
paladins
has to
are
be
more...
within one. It has to be within one alignment step.
Yeah.
So
Anywho.
true neutral, they could be neutral good, neutral evil, lawful neutral, or chaotic neutral.
Yeah. That basically covers everything.
The important ones.
Yeah, exactly. Hooray for neutrality. But yeah, so the party's gotta they gotta figure out what they're doing. We looking for someone else? Are we letting this person die? Are we breaking this person out? Are we doing a full-on prison break to let everyone out? What are we doing?
I vote for letting
Actually-
everyone out because prison break sounds exciting.
That wouldn't be a bad idea. It would create enough confusion that perhaps we can get away easier.
We could use the staff of bears as we're leaving.
Yeah, Ristforn, you are informed that there's literally only 3 prisoners in there right now, so...
Only 3?
Only 3 in there right
You
now.
made it sound. I could have sworn there were more, but all right.
No, there's only 3 prisoners in there at this moment. Again, as stated previously, more troublesome prisoners are transferred to the castle dungeon. People who are in here are not here for long either because they have small sentences, will be dying soon, or will be transferred soon. This place is not meant to hold people for very long, except for this weird, single, strange, one-off case where they're holding this man that just seems to be mentally unstable, and they really don't know what to do with him. Because mental instability is not something they can actually properly plan for in this day and age. So yeah, that's the situation.
How would we go about doing this?
We're gonna need some like background Mission Impossible music.
I mean, I can probably have Snowy sneak in there and steal some keys, but there's still the problem of how do we get them out? I mean, best case scenario, that Delphine lady can probably get out herself.
We could try to deliver the keys just to her. I'm sure she can find her own way out.
I'm sure she could too.
Elman states that he is conflicted as he seems to be sort of mentally considering back and forth about the whole idea. I'm pretty sure Elman is like lawful good. Like, not even assuming, I'm pretty sure that's like actually what he was going for from when he was making his character, so.
Well, I mean, she only stole from it. The reason why she's being put to death is because she stole from the king, so.
Might
I mean,
be.
yeah, it's only treason.
I don't see. Well, maybe in this day and age it's considered treason, but I don't. Graham doesn't understand. Doesn't really quite understand the concept of stealing a crown counts as treason. Treason.
It's grand theft.
Treason would be like killing the king.
I mean, whatever the king says is treason, and if he says stealing his crown is treason, well, then that's frickin' treason, man.
Yeah, but again, Graham doesn't really understand or obey the laws of like nobles.
Those nobles. Ugh.
If you wanted to get it really down to the wire, right, who here has the worst criminal record?
Me.
Sidier.
I mean, Craig has a criminal background.
All right, Craig, given that you do have a criminal background and some experience, go again. I can't believe I'm about to say this. Go ahead and give me an intelligence roll.
Oh
with
no.
advantage. With advantage. I'll give you the advantage because you are a hardened criminal.
With advantage?
Yeah, go ahead and just roll one more time. That's already a pretty good check right there. You have +1 in intelligence?
Apparently.
Okay.
I am smart for a null.
Well, okay, that's only mildly better, but just to kind of like, I guess, give you more options. You could wait until the next day when there's a whole crowd of people and whatnot. Then saving Delphine in particular might be a little bit easier, yet also harder. You would, of course, need to take time to prepare, get disguises, all that kind of stuff. But you could formulate a sort of plan using the crowd for the public execution as a decent way to escape. Likewise, if you tried to break them out here and now, that could be quite a bit more difficult, as just sizing up the place, you feel like there's definitely quite a few guards here, and it would be hard to do so stealthily, you feel. Breaking them out of here in this way, shape, and form, unless done with incredibly good stealth, possibly some, trickery and all that sort, you feel like there'd still be a high chance that even if you did get away, you might be a little more known.
In a good way.
No.
Craig says that we should wait for the crowd of the execution tomorrow and then try. And he can use the Staff of Bears to cause a distraction too.
Hold on. You guys can still hear me?
Yep.
Okay, my connection dropped for half a second. It seems. Okay, I'm good. Never mind. But yeah, no, that's just to provide you with more options, given your criminal history. Planning something kind of big like this would come just a touch more naturally to you. So
Let's throw the.
some things you can ascertain just by trying to think on it, as much as thinking might hurt.
Like a distraction. Throw the tentacle box into a crowd.
Summon a bear with the staff of bears, and then throw the tentacle box at the bear.
You do feel like the staff of bears would be a great way to make a distraction, even though you've never used it before.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
I could also probably like have Snowy sneak like a lockpick or like a dagger or something to
Or we could just send him a note.
Delphine.
You definitely
should-
could easily communicate with Delphine using Snowy via Craig.
Maybe we could get a note to Delphine in a lockpick and tell her our plan for tomorrow,
Why would we give her a lockpick?
so she can get out of her bindings. Or maybe some kind of like semi-sharp object that she can hide. That if it's rope, that she has. She's clearly very talented. I'm sure she could do a lot with very little.
I think a note and a lockpick would be good. Does anyone actually have a lockpick?
No, but I'm sure we can buy one.
I might have a lockpick. Hold on.
I've got like 100 of paper and pen.
I do not have a lockpick. I thought I bought the thieves kit.
These kids had lockpick.
I thought you did too, actually.
I don't have any lockpicks though.
Should have came
Weird.
with it.
Did the thieves kit not come with a lockpick?
Or I could have forgotten to put it down. Both
I
are
mean,
likely.
You literally, if you bought the thieves kit, you could have just dragged the
Thieves
thieves
tools
kit into
include a small file, a set of lockpicks, and a small mirror on a metal handle. Scissors.
Maybe
a
I
pair of
didn't buy
pliers.
the thieves tools. Maybe I just bought the basic kit.
Yeah, you didn't buy the thieves tools because you don't have any of that. But that is an option. You could easily get into town, find a sort of seedy vendor, and purchase those items. It would take
Correct.
probably less than an hour.
Yeah, and Craig
I
knows
mean-
where to go for that kind of thing.
Yeah, he does.
So Craig is going to mention that he's going to find lockpicks and wander off before anyone can say anything.
They're just gonna start writing the note.
All right.
I might need to go back in there to or we're gonna do. I might have Snowy just kind of wait here by the door to what? Hang on. With the role that I did, like to investigate this place, do I happen to know where they'd be taking her out from to go to the execution?
They'd be taking her out from her cell.
I mean, like like the building when it goes outside. Do I know which door they're going to be taking her out of?
I mean, there's only one door that you could really see that actually goes outside. That's the
Okay.
front.
So I can leave Snowy here.
Do you notice there's a balcony on the sort of top second floor? But other than that, there's really no other way out.
Alright, so Snowy can stay by the door to deliver the lockpick and message.
So, Craig, I'll just subtract the gold from your inventory then?
Yeah, give me a full thieves kit.
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
Because I don't know why I don't have that.
Alright, you've got thieves' tools in your inventory.
Sweet. Crag wanders back as soon as he can and Gives a
Oh.
single lockpick to whoever's writing.
Where would we like to meet after all this disturbances?
Yeah, we kind of need to think of our exit strategy now because we're gonna be leaving like immediately.
Do we have a certain place in mind we should probably go to?
Riskthorn would be able to bring up Elra, being a possible place that they were pointed to about a scholar. But again, it was uncertain as to the certainty of that location and that individual.
Well, it's better. It's a better lead than we have now. Also, question, Gold King,
Yes.
do we need one champion from each bloodline, or do we need 6 of them from at least 3 different bloodlines?
That's something you gotta figure out. There are some things that are being left vague for very particular reasons.
Well, I was saying because the fortune teller mentioned that we needed. She said 6 champions from 3 different bloodlines. That's why I'm asking.
That is what she said.
I would like to roll something to decipher a little bit more meaning from that, because like I said, I'm pretty sure that means that we need at least 3 different bloodlines. Because I don't think she mentioned any specific bloodlines with that.
She did not. She just said that there's 3 bloodlines. I mean, you can
Oh,
always
wait.
read your note again.
I
Just
think
a little closer.
I think I remember you saying that
Can you
there's
repost a note?
I put it in the notes.
The notes.
I'm pretty sure you said that 2 of those counted as like 2 of those 6 bloodlines are like grouped together as like as branches of a bloodline.
I don't recall saying that. Just to read back to you the note that you do have. There were 6 champions who formed 3 bloodlines together. Of those bloodlines, they split into 3 from each champion. The pillars of each champion were body, mind, soul, spirit, will, and way.
Crag is the mind.
Yeah, this is big brain time.
So are we going with this?
Oh, okay. I think I get it.
You're allowed to make whatever assumptions you want to make about this. This is left completely up to interpretation.
Alright. Well, anyway, so exit plan for getting out of the city once we have Delphine.
We could always go back north to the tavern and figure out what we can do from there.
The tavern would actually be, no, yeah, it would be north. I'm sorry. as it would be more towards the city walls, where you're slightly more inwards.
I meant the first tavern, the one out of the city.
To Ventonland.
Yes. So we're out of the heat.
Ventonland does seem like a nice place to lay low, and you are regarded as, good people there. You also do have the former manor of Astabar, which people tend to stay away from, that Fluter owns, but seems more than friendly of letting you back into. Sorry, not Fluter, Zale. Zale owns.
Alright, so I guess I don't think we can take the boat because we'd be going against the flow of the waterway, so we gotta walk there.
You did notice that there was a ferry that did seem to sort of go up and down, so you could possibly get on one of those, but it probably costs you
I'm
cash.
pretty sure if we break someone out who's going to be executed, the first thing they're going to do is stop the ferry.
It's possible. Anything's possible.
Well, it depends on if we travel faster than the word of the breakout.
This is risky business right here.
I don't know. I still think that it would be wiser to not get on.
Oh, that reminds me. I almost forgot. My apologies. You're all standing outside the prison right now. Can I get a perception check from everyone?
Yep.
And I'm assuming hearing has something to do with this.
No, it's visual, purely visual.
Oh.
Oops.
Strangely enough, Isaiah the Bat seems to be the one coming out on top right now.
Wrong person.
Kai would see it, but wouldn't be able to communicate it.
Wait, Haha! Damn it.
The wrong person. Oh, there you go. Finally.
Well, since Craig's able to spot it, Craig, you notice, and it just doesn't seem like, for most people, it doesn't. Element recognizes it too, but unfortunately, Element would not be able to draw the connection that Craig would. You do realize that there's some wanted posters up and about, and at first, you really didn't pay them much mind. You're not here to hunt bounties and whatnot. But you did just kind of notice out the corner of your eye. Moriarty McCann is one of those wanted people.
How much is the bounty for?
Craig laughs.
It is for 500 gold.
Oh.
Specified specifically alive.
Does it say for what?
Points at the poster and says, "The fox is."
It does not say what he's wanted for, but it's specified he's wanted only alive for 500 gold. There's no reward for bringing him in dead.
Graham will look at the other wanted posters. Do the other wanted posters, say what the people are wanted for?
Not generally, actually. You do notice there are other wanted posters, of course. There seems to be a strange sort of connection between the rest of the wanted posters that most of them appear to be pirates. Clearly in piratey clothes and the whatnot. There's a raven. There's a fellow that looks like an alligator.
How pirates manage to make a living with plesiosaurs destroying boats.
It is rather curious, but nonetheless, they definitely do seem to be more of a pirate variety. It's almost as
are they land pirates?
you don't know.
These wanted posters are useless. They don't tell you what people are wanted for. They don't tell you what they're what well outside of the bounty. They don't tell you like
yeah,
anything.
the pirates, however, are wanted dead or alive. Most of the pirates are for 100. The Raven, in particular, is also for 500. And the big old alligator, that's just a big hulking man. Like, this guy's freaking huge from his picture drawing. He's 1,000.
Oh.
Graham stares distastefully at the wanted posters. Like very suspicious that about the legitimacy of some of the especially after the visit with the in the prison, the legitimacy of like if these people have really done something deserving of being hunted down.
I'd say so. I know what to do.
I mean,
I don't think
McCann is
those
on that list, so it can't be all wrong, right?
We can't say that for sure.
That's part of the reason. That's part of the reason why, because he's kind of thinking maybe they know McCann is things about the future, and maybe they just want to catch him to abuse shit. In which case, if that does turn out to be true, Graham might do some crazy shit.
Maybe he slept with the king's daughter.
Likewise a possibility. Man, you don't know. It doesn't say. They decided not to write that on these posters.
Maybe we could ask him
Graham
the
is gonna
guard.
walk back to one of the guards and be like, "So, do you know what any of these people are wanted for?"
Oh, well, yeah, you see, the big guy and all the other guys with the ratty clothing, those are all pirates.
And this McCann person.
Wait, McCann's wanted? He goes over to the poster seeming almost confused.
McCann put that up.
He just wants to be wanted by someone.
He scratches the back of his head, seeming confused. Well, I guess he is. I haven't the slightest clue.
Can you look it up? I mean, you gotta have something here.
These are given to us from the castle itself. You'd have to go ask to check with the captain there.
You guys don't think much for yourselves, do you?
We're not paid to think, sir. Just uphold the law.
How like genuinely did they say that?
As genuinely as that
Like-
sounded.
So they like full on like just fully believe that they like just don't even need to think.
These guys are like the epitome of lawful good, from what you can tell, or at least lawful neutral. They're lawful something.
Graham stares at him for a minute. Okay then.
They seem useful.
And he'll go back to the party. So apparently they know nothing about, besides, like people just being straight up blatant criminals that seem to be well known for criminal activities. They seem to know nothing about any of about the people in the wanted posters, and I am kind of curious about why McCann is on there.
Have you met McCann?
The fox? Yes. You know
And
the
you don't
bard.
think that rubs some people the wrong way?
I can imagine that, but his bounty is also 500 gold for him being alive. If it was alive or dead, I would maybe be a little bit less suspicious, but this
Maybe
is
someone just wants to pay a really good price for a bard in their bar.
Perhaps he sang a song that insulted the king.
Treason.
I think treason would be a bit. I don't think treason would be a 500 gold. Be a lot more.
Elman does take note that there are in fact posters of pirates.
And the guards also seem to have known McCann and also seemed very confused as to why he was up there. Actually, the wanted posters. Graham's going to grab the one for McCann and just check it over to see if it's not some kind of weird ass kind of message and just like an actual like wanted poster.
You can give it a look over. I'm gonna go ahead and say right now, it's legitimate. It's got sort of seal that's been painted on it. It looks just like the other ones. It seems legit. Either that or none of these wanted posters are actually legit.
Okay, so I'm very weirded out by this.
You do take note that McCann is striking a rather cocky pose in in the wanted poster. They really captured his essence.
We might need to ask McCann about this. Because it either means that someone has found some reason to kind of get people to hunt him down for them, or he just did something stupid.
Or we can capture him and turn him in for the reward.
Maybe,
I don't think that'd be
depending
wise.
on his answer. I'm sure if we turned him in for the reward, he'd sing some song and persuade some people and find himself out before dinner.
He is a bard.
Well, hey, that's fine. Just means we get our money, and that's not our problem.
We can
Yes,
we can
but
do
if
the bounty multiple
someone's
times.
actually using this, and you know that the people who like make up these bounty posters to get people to hunt him down for purposes other than him just being annoying to someone or having done something kind of stupid, then we probably shouldn't turn him in.
What deliberation the party is having.
But anyway, so we should probably find disguises. Oh, Elements typed something. Do that. Do it.
Emin inquires after Graham finishes speaking with the guard. You know, we did saw McCann yesterday. Unless he teleported to another town again, we could just find him and ask him ourselves.
Yes, that. Well, if we yeah, I'm sure we'll run into him. He likes to show up out of nowhere for no other reason than to sing us songs of the future.
To be fair, he's only really done that 2 or 3 times. Well, the third time, he didn't even sing a song of the future. He was just singing a song of, hey, heard Flutaire was, Zale was gone. Here's a song.
Well, regardless, I'm sure at some point He'll reveal himself to sing something, and then we can ask him. But anyways, we should probably get disguises if we're going to be doing what we're doing, because there's not a lot of towns on this continent that are safe from the darkness, and I would prefer not to get kicked out of one of the larger ones.
The largest one by far, actually. Besides, debatably, Elra. But, you know, that's a conversation for someone who actually knows the continent. Anyway, proceed.
Has Craig gotten back from buying his thieving supplies?
Yeah, Craig got back a bit ago.
Hey, Craig, where can we buy some disguises? And maybe some, like, stuff to, like, dye our fur and scales so we can not, be recognized as us.
I can show you to the nearest, like, thief place.
Let's do it!
Craig, you would lead them on to a tavern called the Grey Fox, which happens to be a bit of a, you know, seedy area where everyone there is basically sitting with a hood in their own booth. It's like, you know, it screams of the obvious signs of everyone here is doing something shady.
Craig fits right in with his hood.
Graham has bright robes and a hood, so he doesn't probably fit in. But he, but in his mind, he does.
One more thing before I forget. I set up a lot of things for you to get some exposition or possible leads, I guess. There is also one more wanted poster that you do happen to find while walking about town. This one wasn't actually at the guards, you know, posting itself, but there does seem to be one other poster that does seem to pop up just a little bit more than the other ones, now that you've actually taken note that there are wanted posters about. And that's for this mysterious figure called Midnight, who is notably a fox. The image would just be of a sort of hooded figure, as they don't seem to actually know who the person is. Just the name Midnight. Also wanted alive.
What's the reward?
10,000 gold.
Holy crap.
Payable by whom?
All of these, I mean, none of these actually say who would be paying them, but it's easy to assume that these would be paid by the government, aka the king himself. King and or queen, possibly. Or perhaps a lord, duke, what have you. Someone of nobility.
Some underling of the castle.
Or the castle itself.
Well, it's gonna be coming from the castle, but it doesn't necessarily mean that anyone of actual note is going to be paying out the bounties.
Right, the check is written by the castle. So, you're all going to the Grey Fox. You go and, Craig, you would be able to get them in with your, the individual you were able to find rather easily, despite your, you know, strangely, you know, your strange nature of going about things.
How badly do I stick out?
You stick out pretty badly.
Wearing full plate armor.
I mean, yeah, you don't look like you should be here. People aren't giving you the sideways eye. Like they've got like their hands like softly resting on hilts under their cloaks. You know, they're ready for something to go down. But Craig, you're able to get them in with the person who hooked up with the thieves kit, and he's able to direct you to someone who can get you all disguises for a pretty reasonable price. Actually, he'll be able to do all of your disguises for you for 5 gold for the entire lot of you.
You know, I wonder if any of these people know Delphine. I mean, this kind of seems like the circle she would run in.
You would need to inquire.
I mean... Graham does not inquire.
Graham, once again, does something intelligent.
Okay, that's enough. Well, the reason why he's not inquiring is because on the slight possibility that, you know, the person who she made a bet with kind of sold her out, so he would win the bet.
Could be. You don't know the story behind the bet.
That's why he's not. That's why he's not going to inquire.
All right. Well, we gotta speed things up here. Who's paying forth the gold? City or Riskform, someone?
I mean, Graham's gonna pay for his disguise, but...
Well, it's 5 for a lot of you, and there's 6 of you. What kind of disguises are you all taking?
I shall put on disguise wing.
Sidir, the blue dragon, simply puts on wings. They'll never figure it out.
And a mustache.
The scaled reptile grew a mustache. How dare.
Yes.
Riskform will get some beggar's clothes, you know. The kind of thing that people want to avoid.
Riskform takes the rather intelligent choice of looking like a beggar.
What's wrong with my choice?
You're putting wings and a mustache on. Otherwise, you look exactly the same.
Can I just get like a tattered cloak to throw over myself?
Okay, so yeah, another poor person type outfit. Yep, we can do that.
Yeah, Graham will probably like get some kind of dyes to like put some like splotches of like different colors on his fur, and probably get some different colored robes, because his robes probably kind of stick out a little bit just because of their colors.
All right, so
he'll
Graham
probably
is
get like he'll probably also kind of get like something like a little bit more ratty, peasant looking.
okay.
Maybe not beggar, but
So some dyes, some ratty street clothes. That leaves Crag and Zyre. What are you both taking, as well as Elvin?
because he also doesn't want to look out of place carrying a weapon.
Right. Elvin,
Craig
Zyre.
dresses up as an old lady and uses the staff as a walking. He seems way too confident, like he's done this before.
Zyre's probably gonna get some like black hooded robes.
Zyre, they seem to have, strangely enough, cultist robes for you.
Great, awesome.
In fact, they even have a story behind it, but they're not sure if you want to hear it.
I'm concerned about Zyre's
I
wings.
want one of
They're
these.
pretty distinctive.
Sadir, they do have extra cultist robes as well. Again, they like almost off mentioning, you know, there's a story behind him, you can tell. Eldman crosses his arms. He seems to finish thinking to himself. Concerning the grand scheme you people are planning, while death or theft isn't personally just for me, Regardless of the item, it's not up to me to judge citizens of this land outside their laws. If I have to be part of this, I'd rather be a guard for you people, or something of the sort. Disguises aren't my forte. It's only my attempt at a search had not ended in such utter failure. The fox seemed embarrassed with that last sentence. I'm guessing he doesn't seem terribly pleased that in his search for justice and righteousness, the first thing he's doing was break out some
How
prisoners.
about potentially saving the world? Does that trump law?
I mean, that'll do it for lawful good. Or lawful neutral, that's all we need.
Yeah,
to be
lawful
a better
neutral, not lawful good.
Yeah, lawful neutral, good, you have to follow the law. Lawful neutral, you do it for the better.
But again, this is why I kind of prefer to avoid the whole, well, everything alignment based, because...
Yeah, likewise. It honestly doesn't matter terribly much what your actual alignment is.
Play to your character instead of your alignment. Alignments are good to help you determine how your character might handle things, but otherwise, it's your character. Play them.
All right, everyone, do me a favor. I'd like all of you to personally take note of your disguise for next week's session, as I believe we're going to be closing up here in a minute.
Yes, we will.
All right, so with the disguises received, Craig, I'm going to go ahead and say that you pay for the people, since you're you're kind of the inside guy, and because of that, they charge you one less, so you're only down to 50 gold instead of 49. You know, you got that connection.
I do have criminal connection.
with the disguises given out, the party has ended on quite a few notes. A wanted poster for Moriarty McCann, the performing bard. The death-defying breakout of Delphine. The knowledge of a child who steals with magic. An old man who writes in ancient runes. A fat dragonborn who may have something to do with all this. A book speaking of the ancient legends. More and more starts to come into view as they start to go down the rabbit hole that is trying to find the bloodlines and defeat the darkness.
All right, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us this week for Tales of Miraleth Dungeons and Dragons. I will be back next week, or I will be back tomorrow with Borderlands 3. Do tune in for that. Followed by Undertale once again. Thank you to my patrons, donators, and subscribers. Because of you guys, I can keep bringing you this content. I definitely couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you again. Check out our website, zgfgaming.com. We've got a coupon code of TOMO15, TOMO15. Go grab some merch with it. It's 15% off. All the proceeds are going to help a friend who is dealing with trying to pay for some cancer treatment. So please consider helping him. And yeah, I bid you all a very fond adieu.
Bye, stream.
Good night.
Bye.
Have a good night, everyone.